So if you were to summarize, what is Flex about? What is this book about?
Flex is really my attempt to encapsulate a sense of what's happening in the leadership world today, which has become incredibly complex and I think for many people, rather daunting. Mm-hmm. But it can be something that's also really exciting because there's more opportunities for people to be in leadership roles than ever before. You know, the traditional way of thinking about leadership and in fact, even organizations has been that, you know, you climb a corporate ladder, you work your way up, it takes 20 years, 30 years. And, you know, anecdotally, I think it's safe to say the vast majority until recently of the folks at the top that make it to the top of the ladder were typically charismatic white men, right? And they have a particular, what I call the alpha dog style or the alpha style, which is charismatic, directive, authoritative, decision-focused execution, all of which has been very successful. So it's not that that's not a good thing. That's been the sort of bulwark, that's been the stalwart approach to leadership, climb the corporate ladder, reach the top. But it's changing. And in the last 10 years, I've seen dramatic shifts in the way organizations are structured and in the types of people that are taking on leadership roles. Much more diverse, much earlier in their careers, much flatter organizations that are no longer pyramids, that are actually circles or networks or partnerships, and they're virtual. Many of my clients have teams that are spread out all over the world. And there are situations where you have young leaders with people working for them that are 10 or 15 years older than them. So in a sense, the whole landscape has kind of been turned upside down. And so it's more daunting, more complex, can be intimidating, I think, for people to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And there's so many books on leadership and so much focus on it. But it's also a great opportunity. And I wanted to capture the best of the research, because I have access to research in my work with the Coaching Institute, and also what I've observed in my experience over 20 years as a coach and in my teaching of up-and-coming leaders, and make that accessible to people, and also give them steps and practices and stories so that they can, that hopefully everyday leaders will be able to relate and develop their own approach to leadership with some of what's out there that I consider to be the best practices.
The approach you took really dives into this idea of a workout. It's sort of like a workout for your leadership style, a workout for your brain, a workout for your emotional style. Can you talk a little bit about how that came to be and what you're hoping readers get out of it?
Well, what I hope readers get out of it is, anecdotally, I guess I would say they get to be their own coach, really. The fundamental themes, the fundamental method of coaching is fairly straightforward. And what I wanted to do is share sort of a coaching approach to anyone who reads this book, and they can actually be their own coach. They can actually step back, do some self-assessments, get feedback, decide on areas they want to develop, set goals, and the book then offers practices, like you said, kind of a workout for different styles in different areas. And then they ultimately will notice a change in the way they operate as leaders, which is the goal that you have when you have a good coach. So, you know, if you get to have a coach, that's the best of all possible worlds. But if you don't get to have a coach, you have a book that's really should, in a sense, be your personal coach.